Hi, my name is Adriane. I live here in sunny Southern California, and I will be your instructor for this series. This series is an introduction to yoga. Our introduction to yoga series is going to take you through all the major categories of yoga poses, from being on your hands and knees, working with the breath, to maybe working on some basic arm balances. If you're scared off, don't be scared. I'm going to help you ease into this, and you'll be surprised what's considered an arm balance. Okay, so today we'll be working with breath and movement. And this is a simple class, but what I find is that this can be some of the hardest stuff to work with is your breath. And what does that mean? And how does that feel? And what is this like? Okay, so let's go ahead and come to your mat. And I'm gonna have you come onto your back. And you'll just bend your knees and place your hand on your belly and the other one on the rib cage if you can. And then just take a couple breaths and notice if you can simply breathe in and out of the nose. For yoga poses, for asana practice, so asana means yoga poses. So for asana practice, we always breathe in and out through the nose. So if you catch yourself breathing through the mouth, that's okay, but just try to remind yourself, okay, breathe through the nose. So just take a couple inhales and exhales. Great. And now what I'd like you to do is see if you can breathe into the rib cage. So see if you can make your hands start to rise off of your ribs. Good. Now, I would like you to see if you can breathe into your bottom hand, into the lowest part of your belly. All right, so this can be pretty tough for some of us. See if you can push your belly out, expand from the back body and the side body, and then exhale. Again. Excellent. And notice if this was difficult for you, I'd like you to see if you can do this every night for the next week. Just lay on your bed, bend your knees. You can even knock your knees together and just breathe into the lowest part of the belly. And we're just training the diaphragm muscle. We're training the breathing muscles to work a little bit harder if you're not used to this level of breathing. Okay. So now let's start to introduce breath and movement. Okay, you can just bend your elbows like a robot from 1980s and take a deep breath and try to like breathe into the entire body, like breathe into the belly, the rib cage, the chest. See how much inhale you can get to expand your inner body, make it bright. And then slow exhale out the nose. Again, inhale. Exhale. Okay, so now the next time you inhale, I'm going to have you press your sit bones. That's like the two bones right at the butt. And you're going to start to press it down to the ground and breathe into the back body, the side body, and curve the low back off of the mat. And then exhale, bring the spine down towards the ground. And you're going to actually scoop your tailbone, right? Pull the low belly in, pull the ribs to the ground, and try to see if you can get no space in between the ground and your low back. And let's do that again. Inhale, now lift the chest, curve the low back, breathe into the inner body. And then exhale, scoop the tailbone, bring the rib cage towards the ground, try to flatten the belly down. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling, lifting the chest, pressing the tailbone down, lifting the heart, and the heart being the chest area, the center. And then exhale, scooping and rounding. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, scooping and rounding. Let's do one more like that. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to have you come up, and instead of rolling over to your side, I'm going to have us rock up to seated just to activate the muscles of the belly. All right, so just bring your knees in and rock all the way up to seated. Good. And come onto your hands and knees. Okay, so anytime that we put our hands onto the earth, it's very important to know how and be very particular about your placement of your hands. So the hands will be, a middle finger will be as wide as your outer shoulder, and your index finger, your pointer finger will be pointed straight ahead. And just as we were doing before, we're going to go back into those curving the spine movements. And this is known as cat and cow. Okay, so before you start, notice the hands. So the index finger is pointed somewhat straight ahead. You push down through the base of the index and the thumb knuckle, really pressing down. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, just soften a bit. Right, so see if you can let the shoulder blades come onto the back a little bit more, letting that space in between the shoulder blades just soften. Tone up the lower abdomen, and as you inhale, press the sit bones towards the ground, lift the chest, and lift what we'll call the heart. Exhale, now scoop the tailbone, pull the belly button towards the sky, look in down towards your navel. Okay, I'm gonna turn this way. Inhale, the belly goes down, the belly stays toned, the heart lifts forward and up. And very, very important, you want to make sure that you're not just crunching the neck, right? I don't care. It doesn't matter if you can look straight up. What I want is that your neck doesn't move without your upper back. Okay, so then it's just a little lift. So you keep that continuous curve of the back. And then exhale, make sure you're not kinking. Pull the belly in, push the earth away. Keep the hands strong. Inhale again, lifting the heart, lifting the chest. Exhale, scooping and rounding, looking in. Let's do 2 more, just like that. And in fact, let's do 5 more. And I love to start off with our cat cows. Keep on moving as I talk. Because what we'll find is that every yoga pose either has a cow pose, which is, if you look up at me, it's shaped like this, or a cat pose, or scared cat is also known as, which looks something like this, or a neutral spine where we have all the curves of the back, right? So low back curve, the thoracic moves this way, the neck moves that way, the tailbone moves that way. So just notice that. So take one more breath. As you inhale, feel the curve of the back, lift the chest, let the upper back move in, the belly stays toned. Okay, so this is one shape. And then you'll exhale, push and look in. Good, one more. Inhaling forward and up. Exhaling, pressing and scooping and bowing in. Very nice. And curl the toes under and sit back. So every time I sit back, I like to sit on my heels with my toes curled under. If that becomes excruciating, you can just come up to your knees, excruciating either for your feet or for your knee joint. It just doesn't happen. You can just stay here, right? And just shake out the wrist. It takes some time to get strength in the wrist. So I promise you, every person that I've ever had in a yoga class, when they first started out, they had a lot of tenderness and pain in their wrist, but eventually the muscles of the arms become strong. So you don't have to worry about that anymore eventually. So don't, just keep with it and keep strong and make sure you take care of your wrist. A little trick that I use for maybe working with any wrist discomfort is I'll bring a fist together with my hands. So make sure you make a fist like this. And the tendency is you're going to want to open your hand. So keep a fist and then squeeze the elbows towards each other. Okay. So that's just an option. Now come up to stand, please. We'll now go into some breath and movement standing. But just as it's important to know where our hands go on the floor, it's also important to know where our feet go. Okay, so pay attention to this because it is our foundation is so important. And we'll cover this in the next class with standing poses, but we're going to just start here so you know what's happening in our body and how we should stand. I always recommend that we start with our feet hip distance and pointed straight ahead. Okay, hip distance. What is hip distance? So all of us have these hip bones, right? Right at the top of the iliac crest here. And I just want you to just pay attention to where your hip, center of the hip, lines up with the center of the ankle, meaning just right in between that second and third toe, that line. That should be about hip distance for you. Maybe not this wide or this wide, just notice. And every body is different. So pay attention. Notice my body might not look like her body or like his body, and that's okay. We have very unique expressions. Okay. So stand with your feet hip distance and parallel. Take the toes off of the ground. I love to start this way because it starts to activate the muscles of the legs. Make the legs strong as you can. And you're going to take the top of your thigh bone. And this is going to be weird at first, but just bear with me. And you're going to bring the top of the thigh bone back. A lot of us walk with our pelvis forward like that. So just push your top of your thigh bone back, pull the low belly in, meaning really tighten the lower abdomen, shortening the distance from the low rib to the top of the pelvis without over exaggerating a tuck of the pelvis, right? So we want to press the thigh bones back. This roots our leg bones, our femur bones into our hip socket. And then you pull the belly in and that tightens it. And then all of a sudden, standing becomes difficult. You'll take your rib cage and you'll pull it in too. So bringing the front of the rib cage a little closer together and just let your arms hang. Take a few breaths here. Good. And then as you inhale, start to take your arms to the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Keep the legs strong, the belly tone, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, the arms go up, and this is known as mountain pose. Exhale, come down. Or with the arms up, upward mountain pose, or Urdhva Uttanasana, Urdhva Tadasana. Exhale. And I'll be saying a lot of weird words, and you eventually start to learn them. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Let's take our arms forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring your palms together, hands to heart center. Right, and this is known as Anjali Mudra with the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale through the center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale through the center. Inhale, arms up, still keeping strong legs. Tone belly, not too tone, but just a little tone. Exhale down. We're finding the pace of the breath. Inhale, the arms move up. Exhale, the hands move through heart center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms up, breathing in. Exhale, the hands move through the center, coming down. Last one like this. Inhale, the arms move up. Exhale, the hands come down. And bring the hands down alongside the body for our Tadasana again. Okay, so this is Tadasana, mountain pose. This is Urdhva Tadasana. Okay, so let's add another layer to this. Again, feet hip distance straight ahead. When we move into our forward fold and your feet are in hip distance, it gives a little more space for the hamstring. So you are not, in case you're tight, even if I'm not very tight, I work with my feet hip distance at first. It's just a little more nice. It's a little more loving. Okay. Inhale, arms up to the sky. And now you're going to bend your knees, bring your hands through the center and come into a full forward fold. Okay, so if you notice here, my knees are bent. My fingertips are on the ground. And pause here. Now, let's say that you can't quite touch the ground. The option is if you happen to have some blocks, fantastic. If you don't, you can use books, maybe 2 books that might be the same as a support here. And what I'm looking for is just having this nice curve of the low back, even with the knees bent. I want to make sure my body doesn't look like this, right? We've seen this. This is very hard on the low back and the hamstrings. So bend your knees and put your hands down exactly where you need them for your body. Okay. So this is known as Uttanasana or forward fold. Now, you can take your palms to your shins, and honestly, this is how I always work. I'll bring my heart forward and up, lifting the chest, toning the belly, and we're creating that that cow back again for the most part, but keeping the belly toned. So you want to make sure that you're not just sticking out your butt and out of alignment. So really pull the low belly in. And this is known as Ardha Uttanasana. And then you're going to exhale, bend your knees and bow and fold in again. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and bow. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and bow. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend and bow. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold and bow. Okay, now we're going to come up to stand. Bend your knees, press into your feet, and inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that is completing a full round. Let's do a full round. We'll do 5 rounds. And this is really nourishing, and you might be feeling oxygenated. I think that's the word. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend your knees and take a forward fold wherever you need. Inhale, look up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and bow. Inhale, stand up and stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Keep going. Inhale, find the pace of your breath. So I'm following my breath. But if you need to go a little bit slower, forward fold, or a little faster, that's okay. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, stand up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, breathe and move. Find the pace of your breath. Exhale, just find expansiveness and openness. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, stand up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold and bow. Inhale, stand up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and bow. Inhale, stand up and stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll end there. Thank you so much for joining me. Next class, we're going to introduce some standing poses. We're going to introduce an Om, what an Om is, and tell you it's not very scary. And we'll work on strength. All right. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.